Alright, and we're finally back. I'm going to eliminate the Ember Twin. Eliminate it. Go through all the loose ends, figure out all the mysteries, as many as I can. And we are going to just go ahead and get started with the gravity cannon. I gotta completely admit, it has been a struggle to adjust to the commentating over video. I still have about 2 more hours of just raw gameplay footage. I'm not even done with the game yet to commentate over. So I'm going to try and remain on the ball and take it one small piece at a time. But so far the gameplay has still been good. Anyway, the shuttle is currently resting at Comet. So we'll go ahead and call the shuttle home. Using that black hole warp technology, I see. So they've decided to use this after the discovery of the warp technology. Or the discovery of the black hole warp technology, and this freaked me out. So much so I actually had to pause the game. Don't know why, just kind of startled me that there was a humanoid form just standing right there. But anyway, my thing reads the messenger, and it says, "I fear our situation may be dire." This is from Clary. Pi, Poke, and I landed here on this comet not long after its arrival in this star system. Our shuttle's equipment heard strange energy readings coming from somewhere beneath the surface. Pi and Poke were able to locate a fissure in the ice on the comet's sunward side, and they descended inside to investigate the source of the readings. But Pi and my sister have been gone for a long time now. They haven't contacted me since descending into the surface either. Should I leave the shuttle to look for them? I want to follow protocol, but I don't know what I'll do if they're not well. Poke, Pi, come back to me safely, my friends. Sorry for having the play thing on the bottom of the bar. Feels so unprofessional. But anywho, so it looks like these controls. Oh, and there's Clary's skeleton. So these controls look pretty rudimentary. It is a gravity cannon, so kind of all it can really do is launch you. Apparently directly into the sun. But quickly find out the middle setting. Teleported you back. Now I'm not sure what the third setting does. It might be landing. Now that rumbles the sound of the sand pillar going over to the Ash Twin. It's really taking a look around to see if there's anything more to this thing. After launching it in a direction, decided to take a look while it's in flight, which is really neat from the rear, because it's just like a force field that's keeping you protected, but I went right into the sun, so... Whoops. But we did get some new information on the computer. Yeah, recall the Nomai shuttle from the Interloper, which is covered in ice. They were talking about ice on the Interloper. And there's still more to explore here. The shuttle's equipment heard strange energy readings from somewhere beneath the surface. 2 of the Nomai located a fissure in the ice on the Interloper sunward side, and they descended into the side to navigate. So sunward side, of course, is just flat out saying that the orbit of this comet It doesn't have a. It doesn't rotate on its axis clearly. Back to the Ember Twin. The miracles of editing, right? So this time around, I actually see if I can get myself onto the interloper, because it's right there. That was either too early or too late. I'm not too early, I think. But it's very clear that the Nomai's means of travel to these various objects is to calculate the trajectory and time and gravity to launch a object onto the onto their destination. And found the black hole part of the warp hole device here in the ship, which is really cool. Decided to say screw it, couldn't find anything on there. Just to launch it to see what would happen. Now, I realized I just launched it into the sun. I was just wondering what would happen if it did. Like if that messenger would pop up and say that the probe was destroyed or something like that. But thinking back, I could have like melted the ice. But after I was done with that, I just started exploring around the planet. Really ended up in places I had already been before. It's really seeming like I'm getting the surface of Ember Twin explored, and so much so to the fact that I accidentally ended up in the oxygen like garden area of the initial path to the Sunless City. So from here, I went ahead and just reset my loop, which is really cool. You can just reset your loop, and all of the things that you had done is saved. So, you know, do you just get to a dead end, or you don't want to wait for the sun to explode, you can just reset and start from the beginning of the loop, which is really convenient. But I have been dealing with the Ember Twin and Ash Twin for like double or triple the time of Timberhearth. Like I'm really kind of excited to get back to Brittle Hollow. But once again, into the breach. Though this time I decide to give the Ash Twin a little bit of a kiss and head on over to the campfire and find out who the explorer over here is. You can see their ship right there. It's Chert. Goodness, it's you. Hello, I take it your first launch went well then, huh? Welcome to the Hourglass Twins. Mind the sand now. What are you up to? Orenfels asked me to update our star chart, so I'm out here observing. This is one of the best places in the solar system to spot astronomical events, you know? What's weird is I've actually seen a couple of supernova today. Usually I'd be fortunate to see just one. Keep an eye out for out on the stars, and maybe you'll spot one yourself. Well, tell me what I can do for you. I apparently didn't find anything. Nothing you want like to discuss at the moment. That's no trouble. If you do discover anything you want to talk about, I'd be happy to help. Supernovae look like extra bright stars to the naked eye, but if you zoom in with your signal scope, you can tell that they are actually enormous explosions. Sorry for the pausing. I found out in a prior view that I kind of sped through his text for some reason. Massive stars go supernova at the very end of their lifespans, which is why it's so unusual to see 2 in a single day. I wonder if some of these stars are older than we realized. Right now, I'm documenting the stars. Hornfels noticed our star charts are out of date, so they asked me to update them. Please don't tell the others I said this, but sometimes I think I'm the only traveler out here interested in doing any science at all. Or maybe don't tell the Hornfels either. I think they're pretty deep in denial. Ooh. To be honest, I haven't left this lake bed. I don't mean to brag, but I'm really quite good with the little scout, so I've been taking pictures of everything from right here in my campsite. It's a bit of a hint here. Have you seen the old shipwreck site on the Ember Twins' southern hemisphere? The one shooting a bright beam of light into the sky? It's not one of our own crashes. Surprisingly enough, this one's a Nomai ship. You'll find the Nomai ruins across the Twins, but strangely, not a single settlement. Believe me, if there was one to see, I'd have seen it with my little scouts, because it's under the ground, buddy. So where do they live? Not on the surface, clearly. Ember Twin is full of cave systems, though. Maybe the answer lies underground? Yes! On a scale of 1 to dead, I'd give it a 7 or 8. Awfully pretty, though. Right now, sand is flowing from Ash Twin to Ember Twin, but did you know the process eventually reverses? We're not completely sure why the sand flows back and forth between the twins, but it seems to be a natural phenomenon, which answers a question. I was saying how the sand falling from the one planet to another was happening so long ago, and I think I mentioned that it was just like an hourglass. They call it the hourglass twins for a reason. The sand falls back and forth, which goes to show you that, man, the Nomai were just screwed on these twins. Like, some of the skeletons that are about, like, now realizing they're like, what, 238,000 years old, you know, could have just died of old age, but there's a lot of kid corpses. There's a lot of kid skeletons around, which just makes me wonder if the sand going back and forth just eventually overwhelmed them, and it was just over. Like, they just could not keep track of it. They could not keep themselves safe at the needed periods of time. Just bad all around, you know. But anyway, seems to be a natural phenomenon. Oh, if you'd like to see something interesting, check out the other twin once a little more of its sand drains off. I promise you won't be disappointed. Yeah, all the bridge with the towers and all that stuff. Watch out for falling sand, okay? Had to dig myself out once or twice, and I don't know what he said. Anyway. So yeah, here's the campsite. Seeing all the structures around, I decided to go ahead and take a look around. Now, I thought that I might have been in this cave once before, but I was wrong. Signal nearby. Oops. Still messing around with that thing wrong. Quantum fluctuations. Oh, geez. Well, that's like... Well, hello there, stone. The cave shard. Yep. And it disappears. Alright, so from Malore. Friends, if you find any sign of Coleus, I implore you to tell me. He vanished without a trace during our research trip and has been missing ever since. Uh-oh. Where was young Coleus lost, Malore? Asks Adnona. He disappeared in the cave at the bottom of the dry lake bed at the North Pole. It happened in an instant, without warning. Come on. There we go. I turned away from Coleus to examine a sample, and when I turned back, he simply wasn't there anymore. He had a limited supply of air, Anona. I'm afraid for him. Mallory, some of us from the Sunless City are here to help search for the Coleus. Can you tell us more about your expedition? Hypothesis. We will learn more by examining the Northern Lake Bed Cave, where Coleus disappeared. Search quickly, everyone. We have no time to squander. The Northern Lake Bed Cave. You have my gratitude, Burr. Coleus and I were studying the cave's geology. We hope to learn more about a unique wandering rock that visits several areas, different caves in the area. So, scary. Not really, but... Yeah, so heading up here, I realized that there was, oh wait, I had already been up there. That's where I came from. So, decided to fly back, and... Son of a bitch! Yeah, the Quantum Shard decides to just come in and haymaker my entire body into the cave wall. Like an asshole. Like, look at the damage. There's some serious damage. And this path leading over to the wrecked ship, so... kind of just tying up all the loose ends of the paths here in the, on the Ember Twin. So I decided to go ahead and cross over the entire chasm where Chert's in the middle from the the cave shard. It's got cactuses all over the place down here and shit. And, hey look, it's the shard. Came back for more. Coleus is missing. He vanished from the lake bed cave, the one at the bottom of the dry lake bed at the North Pole, several days ago, and we're unable to find any trace of him. I don't know how much air he had when he disappeared. I beg any friend reading this help us recover Coleus. The rock is very familiar. Did you travel here, my sedimentary friend? Because your unique color and texture appears identical to a rock I met earlier. Wasn't this same rock fragment in the cave we found at the bottom of the dry lake bed at the North Pole? Yes. An update. Mallory and I went to the lake bed cave and observed this rock again. Sometimes it's there, and sometimes it isn't. That means this rock wanders like the quantum moon does. How curious. We plan to re-examine the northern lake bed. Maybe... I don't know. Hello again. You look different? I don't know if that rock looks a little different. Anyway, realizing that there's a path to the left. And it leads us to the broken bridge, and I do believe we were on the other side of that before too. 50% fuel remaining. And don't matter, because I go ahead and skip to see how far down to the lake bed I can get. And as you can see, the sand is already filling up quite extensively. So I go ahead, head back to the ship, fix myself up. And decide to head on over to the Ashwin, because I mean, the sand is just draining from there, so... But the funnest thing to do, and as in not fun at all, is the fact that I have to try and land this ship on a planet of sand that is slowly draining. Like, you know, landing it on top of one of these ships is not too bad of an idea, or ships, one of these towers isn't too bad of an idea. But, you know, it's not very stable. Alrighty. already kind of feeling the ship's a bit rough. The ship was probably going to be fine, but over in this direction, the bridge starts to show itself. Sand, it tries to claim me, but as you see, the sand claims my ship. Bye. And I mean, it is up there. There it is. But here it comes. Right back into the sand pillar. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, just decide to restart this one. Some new information on Chert's Camp and the Quantum Caves and Shard. Super unusual high amounts of novae. Ah, the Sunless City with that orange symbol. Still more to find. Decided to go ahead and make the Lake Bed Cave target priority number 1. I already see the sand particles coming. So the pressure is already on right at the start. We must be at the lowest point of the planet. And the sand's already coming up. Believe I could just squeeze through that like that. I'm never so happy to be moving upwards, but was not expecting this. took this cliff a little too hard, and yep. It was so hard to get any semblance of control. The flashlight would not stay up above the sand, and I was very lucky to keep myself jammed right here. Even with 75% fuel, it wasn't enough, so I had to wait until I had 100% boost. And as you can see, I was moving the whole time to not sink, and I finally made it. This game has some intense moments, you know, but the last massive intense moment we had led to a payoff of a gut punch, so I was a little concerned about the results of this, but this was challenging, and I enjoyed the challenge. While going through these caves, began to notice that things were acting a bit quantum. Those rocks weren't there before, and there were rocks there before. There were cactuses there before. So we were clearly getting close. Oxygen. And more skeletons. And the shard. If you come here to look for Coleus, this is where we were when he vanished. He's been missing for 2 days now. Your strange wandering rock friend is here, though Coleus isn't. Coleus and I observed the unusual-looking rock shard and several smaller rocks in at least 2 other caverns. But what happened before Coleus disappeared? We were examining the different rocks. I recall Coleus standing on the largest one, the Wandering Rock. I was taking notes and then my lantern died. When I lit it again, Coleus and the rock were both gone. See, everything moves around. The rock, the panel. Turn the light on or off. Yep, the rocks that moves, the panels move, the skeleton moves. Yeah, I was a little trying to get that to happen again. So I was finally starting to get the idea. So it turns out, just as the Nomai said, if you have 0 observation of the object, that's when it moves. And if you're on the object and you completely make yourself incapable of observing it at all, you move with it. So getting on the quantum moon, once you're on it, it's not going to disappear from under your feet, but you can't use your landing camera to land on it, which, to be honest, landing without your landing camera is not hard. So if we see the quantum moon, we should go for it again. Because we have no idea, there's just no remote idea as to what is even on the thing. Be so funny to land on the quantum moon before we get to the Tower of Quantum Knowledge. Oh, little, oh geez. Little, spawning of things in going on there. So according to my map, this is the room that fuel. How curious, the rock took me with it to a new location. I wonder why this happened. Curious, but also alarming. This new cave appears to lack an entrance or an exit. Also, the rock that brought me here disappeared while I wasn't watching. The wandering rock has returned. Never before have I been so delighted to see a sedimentary specimen. I wonder if I myself became quantum briefly when the rock carried me here. This seems the clearest explanation. Hypothesis. If the rock can bring me here, it can also carry me out. My hypothesis was correct. I can travel on this rock. As long as I'm not observing my surroundings, meaning I must be in complete darkness, I'm going to bring my mentor here to see this. Mallory is here now, too. We theorize when a conscious being is in contact with a quantum object and ceases to act as an observer, explaining the need for darkness, the being can become entangled with that quantum object and they move together. Friends, Coleus has discovered a new quantum rule. He has also promised me he'll never vanish again, even if he does learn something from it. Now, I just want to pause here and ask a question. What is going on in terms of why these skeletons are standing the way they are? Like, is there some sort of time fluctuation or like time imprint in the quantum like phases that happen when you look away and look back? Because he's like frozen in a time in quantum space. I wonder if that's where these two were standing at once. But yeah, it's strange. Clearly, I was kind of having similar thoughts. So strange. That it just turned the light back on. So we still have to explore the Sunless City, and we still have to explore the gravity cannon pod. We tied up the loose ends with those quantum caves. So I decided in the meantime to just go on ahead and head over to the Ash Twin and just explore the surface while the sand was draining to see if there was any caves or other things I could see. There's one of those explosions just covered by my screen. While the sand was draining, I kind of looked around before, but not very thoroughly. But yeah. I will show you some scenes of how the sand levels get at various points, but just no spoilers. There's just nothing around here. At the bottom of these energy towers is just elevators that take you upwards to the top to nowhere. Here, I tried to tune into one of those supernova. See, yeah, here's the bottom of these power towers, and they're just elevators all the way up. And then if you look real closely, you can see that starry rocky material. That's the stuff that they were mining from Timberhearth. So yeah, that core of this planet is the shell of the Ashwin project, and by the looks of it, through my exploration, there really is no way into this sucker. It is sealed tight. Wow, those towers definitely get a lot of power when the supernova's going. Look at that thing glow. So back at it to the Ember Twin. Gonna see if we can't fully explore the Sunless City finally. And then I believe that's like the last loose end to tie up on the Ember Twin. And I'm getting really good at traveling that path too. Take another look at this anglerfish. I had to admit at this point, and in a couple points here in a bit, the Scout really needs to be utilized a lot more. It is an exceptionally bright light source wherever you shoot it. So, heading on over to the Stepping Stone District to see and make sure that I had explored this fully. And I did. I did explore the ruins. We had explored it in a previous episode, so there wasn't anything that we had missed from prior. And though they call this the Stepping Stone District, it's more like a stepping stone cave to get on over to another side of the city. Ton of nastiness down there. And I kind of remembered that I believe, yep, this doorway leads to the upper rear end of the Stepping Stone District. And saw those messages about them playing the Fossil Fish Cave game, and then I had to remind myself I fed the fossil fish a new lantern. If you go to the Stepping Stone Cave, the entrance to the Fossil Fish Cave is easy to see now. So that's giving us the hint that we want to launch a scout like we did before into the mouth of the anglerfish so that we can see where we need to go in that stepping stone path. Skeleton. No idea what I was trying to look at there. So we had explored these ruins some in the past, but I wasn't too sure that I saw it all. Just the skeletons that are just littering this place. I can't imagine that they didn't just... I mean, old age or the sand. Hang on one second. I want to find out what the heck is making that sound, that notification sound. Anyway. Sorry. Here in this section that you have these various sand pits that you could fall into, which are usually lined with a cactus at the bottom of it. So you're supposed to use your scout to launch them down these sand pits to see if there's a hazard at the bottom. Says hazard, so that's going to be right on a cactus. It also does the same thing for like ghost matter. Will you please fall into the hole? Jeez. Not safe. Safe landing. Now I did realize that, yeah, we had read this before. This was about the Sun Station. That made me think that the Sun Station was going to be an answer to our issues. So. And then this is the elevator that leads you back up, and I believe that was really it. So yeah, I had explored this area too. Had to be sure. I hope there's not too much, I don't do too much backtracking in Brittle Hollow. I know like the initial settlement was fully explored, so I don't have to mess with that. I know I can go straight to either the Hanging City or to the gravity elevator by the one guy's camp. But yeah, just look at that light source. That's insane. It almost lights up the whole cave in itself. Sand was starting to fill up real fast. I decided to take a look at the Eye Shrine District again because, well, I might have missed something at the Eye Shrine District. Oh, yeah, it's the place with all that ghost matter. More skeletons. Just look at it all. Ugh. So yeah, I was done messing around with that area. Didn't think I would be able to get anywhere else there, but I still have things to explore. Yeah, more to explore. Flail around on the screen a bit. Yeah. The Nomai shuttle and the Sunless City still needs to be explored. Entrance from the Stepping Stone Cave is hard to see unless the anglerfish is fed a light. But what is this? What do I see? The quantum moon to the right? Oh, no. We must. I must. We must go for it. But somehow, I don't realize the trajectory I was going, and then I'm gonna slam right into the twin. Don't forget to fly in space with your spacesuit on, kids. That's enough for now. I'll see you soon. Later.